everybody, Textile here. If you remember my last vlog about the engine seizing at Sanair, there's a little side story to that. I wasn't directly involved, but I did see stuff going on, but at the time I didn't really know what was going on until I got back from the races and got talking to the guys at the bike shop later that week. The racetrack at Sanair is kind of run down, and that's sort of a polite way of saying it's a dump. Well, the Paddock area, or the pits as we like to call them, is partially paved, and the rest of it's just sort of gravel. So it can actually get pretty dusty and dirty down there, especially with guys whipping in and out with their bikes and whatnot. And most racetracks, and this is not just Sanair, but most racetracks have a very strict rule as to how fast you can drive in the pit area. It has a lot to do with safety. You have racers, you know, coming and going, mechanics, spectators, children. Like it is no question it's a safety issue. I'm not arguing it whatsoever. But Sanair actually took it to a absolutely new level, and they had a guy who the racers were calling the Sanair police, and this guy was driving a mid-70s Cadillac convertible with the top down, and what he was doing was he was driving through the pits without a word of a lie at 50 miles an hour to catch up to you, to tell you to slow down. And he was going through the corners, the car sliding sideways because it was a lot of gravel and whatnot. And you know, for the mechanics who are working on their bikes, you know, when you have an engine apart because you're working on something and some guy drives by and blows a great big cloud of dust in your area, they tend to get a little upset. And a couple of racers actually, one of the guys who went on to become a top superbike racer in North America, had to take avoiding action to avoid this guy driving like an idiot, and he crashed his mini bike and just ripped his whole knee all up, which, you know, it wasn't a permanent injury, but it wasn't the sort of thing you'd want to have on a race weekend when you're supposed to be racing at your best. Well, the guy was quite a character as well, because he was about 6'6" tall. He was wearing like surfer shorts, and the worst part about it was he was, without a word of a lie, around 400 pounds. And the most horrible part about it was he wasn't wearing a shirt. I hope you're not watching this when you're eating. So he wasn't making any friends, and after he nearly took out the superbike racer, people had pretty well had enough. And when he started whipping by people's pits, beer cans, beer bottles, wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, rocks, pretty well anything was being thrown at him. By the end of the day on Saturday, his car had taken so many impacts that he was actually parked off at the far end of the pits, and he was just sort of sitting there hiding because he figured sooner or later someone was going to stop trying to hit the car and start hitting him. And the real funny part was he had left his car there Saturday night, and it's the one thing you don't want to do with a bunch of racers. And what they literally did was they took the valve stems out of his car tires, so when he came back Sunday morning, his car was sitting there with 4 flats. Now, of course, all they have to do is put the valve stem cores back in and fill it with air, but I don't think anybody at the track was going to loan him a compressor. But it was just one of those little weird things that happens at racetracks, and I thought maybe you get a kick out of it. So anyways, talk to you later.